everybody, welcome back to Sword and Shield? Question mark? Scarlet and Violet? Question mark? I'm not really sure. Because I have a weird video idea today. And probably this is gonna backfire on me and nobody's gonna watch this video, but that's okay. They can't all they cannot all be winners. I think it's an interesting idea to think about though. And that is Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, Pokemon in Gen 9, that would have been even better in Sword and Shield. So this is, by and large, Pokemon that would have benefited way more from Dynamax than they do from Terastallization. Now, obviously, you could make this argument about just about any Pokemon, because, like, it's a very different mechanic, and doubling your HP and getting really strong moves is usually better than just changing your type. So what I've done is I've kind of chosen a bunch of Pokemon that I want to focus on because I think they probably maybe could have been like super crazy meta threats in Sword and Shield if they'd been introduced that generation, just because of like the unique properties of Dynamax, whether that's max moves or like, you know, just the whole mechanic in general. And not ones that'll just be better because Dynamax is like a stronger mechanic, if that makes sense. Some that would be better than they are now, like simply because like Dynamax just fits their gimmick better, if that makes sense. So, without further ado, let's jump on into it here. Wow. Oh, spoilers. So the first Pokemon I want to talk about, the first like pair of Pokemon really, are Armarouge and Ceruledge. If we had a Pokemon with Armarouge's stats with weak armor in Sword and Shield, it probably would have been insane. Because, like, we were what? We were stuck with stuff like Crustle and Poltegeist, and yeah, like, they're cool, fun Pokemon, but they do not have good stats. Armarouge has the stats to outspeed things after one hit and absolutely destroy things, and it can set its own psychic terrain if we're talking about Dynamax. And like if you Dynamaxed Armarouge and then triggered weakness policy weak armor, it would be stupid strong. Like like this would rival like Colossal levels of ridiculous in that generation. Like Colossal was never really bad. Armarouge probably also would have never really been bad, and it gets like, you know, it gets grass coverage, it gets fire coverage, it gets fighting type coverage. I think Armarouge and also Ceruledge, like, you know, I mean, obviously it'd be physical instead of special, but it gets a lot of really cool moves too. Its signature move is really nice, but it does really only get like single target moves, which is kind of to its detriment. So I think Armarouge would have been a better Pokemon than Ceruledge, but either of these guys with good stats and weakness policy weak armor would have been absolutely insane in Dynamax, and I stand by that. Now Darkspun is a little bit different, I think. You know how Charizard was the best Pokemon, and like Colossal was also like the best Pokemon. They were both just like the best Pokemon forever, and they both are fire type Pokemon. Now I think Darkspun would have been better than it is, you know, now, because like straight up Darkspun just switches in and eats. Wow, I already forgot what that move is called. That's crazy. Hold on, Gmax. It just straight up switches in and eats Gmax Charizard move, which is called Gmax Wildfire. I don't know why that was so hard for me to remember. And they don't get the effects of Gmax Wildfire, which I think is really funny. Like, obviously we had like Flash Fire Pokemon, but Wellbeck Body is just a funnier ability, and like obviously like Fairy type is a really strong typing. There were a lot more Steel types running around in Scarlet and Violet though, so you know, maybe it wouldn't be like crazy, but like it's fairly fast. It gets like Snarl, it gets a lot of cool stuff. I don't know, I just think any Pokemon that could switch in and just eat a Gmax Wildfire has something that it can do. Especially since it gains like stat boosts off of that instead of like Flash Fire where just your fire type moves do more damage, and that's really not super beneficial. Bramblegast I feel very similarly about. Now obviously we don't know if Gmax Airstream would have been considered a wind type move, but just based on like the moves that we know are wind type moves, I kind of feel like it would. It's kind of like, you know, it's a move made of wind. I would assume that it would be considered a wind move. If it's not, Bramblegast isn't very good at all, but Max Airstream is literally the best max move Probably even better than most of the Gmax moves. So a Pokemon that could just switch in on that for free and be immune to it and get an attack boost would be pretty cool, I think. Especially since last generation is the generation where we introduced the dynamic speed tiers. So I really think that would play into it as well, because like you could like switch this in on a max airstream and then next turn Dynamax the Brambleghast, which it benefits from because it's not very bulky and it's going to make it a lot bulkier straight up. And then you get to click Tailwind, and now you're at +2, and maybe you can even click your own max airstream. I don't know. No, it doesn't look like we get a single flying type move. But Dynamax does get around the fact that we don't really have good ghost type and grass type moves. I mean, I guess we have Seed Bomb, so we don't really have good ghost type moves. Makes running Phantom Force feel a little less bad. Yeah, I don't know. It just I think it would be good. I think probably it would be immune to max airstream, and like probably you would get the boost and like eat max airstream, and that would be super amazing. That would make Brambleghast like super good. Now the next kind of thing we have here, we have Cloth. Obviously, you know, more like wombo combo stuff, but basically Anger Shell is very similar to Moltres' ability, and Moltres is still good, but Moltres was like great in Sword and Shield, at least before we get to like restricted Pokemon formats. And I feel like Cloth could do the same thing, because with the added bulk of Dynamax, I mean, you could afford to run like a lot less HP and like Dynamax it and really go for Anger Shell and like maybe get like multiple Anger Shell boosts. I just feel like it's a little bit more plausible, if that makes sense. Cloth obviously has like pretty bad stats. Does it get any flying type moves? Because max airstream would be amazing. No flying type moves, but maybe with TRs it would get like some like weird niche flying type move. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Anger Shell would work better as a gimmick with Dynamax than it does right now. That's just kind of all I have to say about Cloth. It wouldn't do anything like specific, but I feel like it'd be a lot better. Belly Bolt, which I forgot has different abilities that aren't Electromorphosis. That's pretty weird. This is kind of like the same thing as Arm Rouge. Weakness Policy, Electromorphosis, like Parabolic Charge, Belly Bolt would probably be even better in Sword and Shield if it was available, because straight up that max lightning is gonna hit so goddamn hard. Like that max lightning is gonna be KOing things that resist it like very easily, if that makes sense. I mean, obviously there's like more ground types, because max ground move was a really good move as well. But I don't know. I feel like you like get the weakness policy, you get the Electromorphosis, and even off of like Parabolic Charge, like that max lightning is gonna be like base 110, something like that, and it'll get doubled by Electromorphosis, so it's gonna be 210, and the weakness policy, like that sounds like a lot. I feel like that'd be crazy. And all you know, you get to be even bulkier and like keep taking hits. Like people are gonna, you're in Dynamax, you're gonna eat those hits like they're nothing, and you're gonna trigger Electromorphosis, and you're gonna get to click Max Lightning, and then you're gonna set up your own electric terrain, and the next turn your Max Lightning does even more damage. It sounds like it would work. Its gimmick would work a lot better with Dynamax than it does right now with Terrestrialization, and that's, you know, that's kind of like what a lot of this stuff is. But it sounds cool. I think it sounds cool. I don't know. Maybe you don't agree, but I do. Thermal Exchange, I feel very similarly about. If we were big bulky Dynamax boy, Thermal Exchange would be a lot better. Now, obviously, it's still pretty cool because you're immune to burn, which is nice. But fire type moves are neutral to you, which does make it a little confusing. If we resisted fire type moves, it'd be a little bit better. Like, I mean, I guess you can do that if you want to run like a Terra type that resists fire, but that seems kind of silly to me. You know what I mean? Straight up though, Assault Vest is like way better with Dynamax because your HP is going to be stupid high. I really think you could get into like some Lava Plume, like Thermal Exchange stuff with Excalibur with Dynamax. Like you can do it now, but it doesn't really work as well because like our Lava Plume Pokemon are kind of funky. Like you have Chi-Yu, who really just you really don't want to hit yourself with Chi-Yu. It kind of hits way too hard a lot of the time with special attacks. What did we have that could use Lava Plume last generation? I know we had a couple of Pokemon that were kind of fast. I think the one that comes to mind Mind Blown Blacephalon would work pretty good, especially with the Assault Vest. Like, that'd be pretty cool. For Lava Plume, though, I can't really think of one. There might not be one. Me, the ever colossal enjoyer, should know, but Lava Plume was never really the way to go. Mind Blown Blacephalon, though, next to Excalibur. Mind Blown, do a bunch of damage, get a +1 attack, take KOs. Like, that would be pretty neat. I'd be down for that. That would be pretty fun. That sounds like really cool, like a good time. The Dunsparce. Okay, so here's the deal with the Dunsparce, okay? There's two different ways that this would be better with Dynamax. First, you have Serene Grace, and you get, like, hella flying type moves. When we go special or physical, we probably want to go physical with the Dunsparce. What's a good physical flying type move that we get? We get Roost, that doesn't count. We get Tailwind, that also doesn't count. Is it really just Air Slash? That makes me sad. I thought it was more than just Air Slash. Alright, well, that's fine. Basically, we can boost our speed and then be really fast with Serene Grace Rock Slide Pokemon and be, like, super hella annoying, which is very funny. Or, I mean, Rattled. This is the first, like, fully evolved Pokemon that we've had that's, like, got decent stats with the ability Rattled. And if you don't know what it does, basically, if you get hit by a Bug, Dark, or Ghost type move, your speed gets boosted. So you could do, like, some crazy, like, Rattle stuff. And, I mean, I guess you can't really run Weakness Policy, since you can't, like, Terrasilize to be weak to Dark or Bug or Ghost. But like, Intimidate will also give you a speed boost, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. I really feel like, this would be better with Dynamax just because you can do, like, funny wombo combos. And, you know, if I am nothing if I am not a fan of really funny wombo combos. I don't know. The Rattled wombo combos I think would be really cool. And, like, obviously you could run, like, Max Strike for, like, speed control as well. You do get a lot of, like, really interesting moves. Like, Hyper Drill actually would be a crazy move, especially if it does damage through, like, Max Guard. It probably would. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it'd be a funnier Pokemon with Dynamax than it is now. Like, obviously it's a funny Pokemon now and it does its stuff. But with Dynamax, I feel like it'd be an even funnier Pokemon. Now, these next few might sound like the rich get richer, but, like, really, like, they don't. Like, Dondozo is... I honestly think if Dondozo existed with Dynamax, it'd be the most broken Pokemon ever. Because if you could Dynamax this thing with the whole Tatsugiri deal going on, that'd be stupid. And I might have quit Pokemon because that sounds really, really dumb. Or maybe I would just run Dondozo instead of Colossal at the time. I don't know. But it would 100% be a lot funnier with Dynamax than it is now. Because now it's annoying, but with Dynamax it'd be annoying and also really, really big catfish. Maybe that doesn't make sense. I don't know. Special Dondozo would probably be, like, a little bit better too. You can set your own rain. Like, that's really cool. You can't switch out. I mean, you can switch out with your Dynamax anyway, but you don't really want to switch out with your Dynamax, so not being able to switch out doesn't really hurt you as bad. Yeah, I don't know. These next few Pokemon are Pokemon that are, like, not very good now, just because they have, like, awkward speed tiers. And I think that would be a lot better with access to Max Airstream. First up, Iron Moth. It gets Hurricane. As it stands currently, you cannot boost your energy speed unless you don't run Max Special Attack, and that's really awkward, obviously. So, you just go, you do this, and you Max Airstream once, and now you're faster than everybody, and it doesn't even matter anymore, and that's super cool. You can also set your own sun. This could be maybe like this could be maybe one of the very few good users of Max Poison Attack, because it raises your special attack, which would be really cool, actually. We didn't have any Pokemon that could really take advantage of that at all, so maybe this would be the one. Iron Jungulus I feel very similarly about. Obviously it has Stab, Max Airstream coming off of Hurricane, which is a very strong move, and it has a very good special attack stat. So that'd be super good. Its base speed is really not bad either. Like, for last generation, this would have been a crazy base speed. Pre-restricted format, this would have been a really good, really good base speed. But yeah, I feel like it would be, like, really good. Especially since you can, you know, like, set electric terrain, get the Quirk Drive. Like, it might even be able to set its own electric terrain. If it gets a single electric type move, it does. It gets Charge Beam. It also just gets electric terrain, but you could like max lightning, set your own electric terrain. That'd be really cool. Same for the Iron Moth. I'm pretty sure it gets discharge. Yeah, yeah. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. Yeah, I don't know. Just they sound really cool. I think it'd be really just these Pokemon with max airstream would be better. Very similar stuff for Roaring Moon. Obviously, like the only flying type move it really gets is Acrobatics. I thought it got Dual Wing Beat, but I guess it's just Salamence that gets Dual Wing Beat. Like I mean, I guess you get Hurricane. But that doesn't really help. So, I mean, really it's just Aerial Ace and Acrobatics. But, or you can run Fly. Fly would also work. Max Airstream coming off of Fly is legit. So maybe you run Fly instead. But with a Max Airstream, like, it would be super great. Because then you can run Max Attack. And you don't have to run less Attack to get your Booster Energy Speed boost. I really feel like Pokemon like Iron Bundle and Fluttermane shouldn't be allowed to get just whichever boost they want whenever without having to sacrifice stats. Makes me kind of sad. Oh, actually, you can run Adamant and then get the Max Airstream boost? Yeah, that'd be super cool. Super, super cool. Max Darkness is really good. You could combo Max Darkness into like a special attacker next to you. I don't know, it's really just Max Airstream. Like, if these Pokemon had Max Airstream, it'd probably be a lot better Pokemon. And the last one that wants Max Airstream really is Quaquaval. Its whole deal is that it's really the only Pokemon that can, like, snowball really hard with, like, its stuff. And it really needs, like, to get off an Aqua Step to do stuff. But what if instead of getting off an Aqua Step, you could Dynamax so that you don't die, and click Max Airstream and get that +1 speed and start rolling with Moxie? I really actually, this is what I'm serious about with the Pokemon for Max Airstream stuff. I actually think Quaquaval would have been a really good Pokemon in, like, early Sword and Shield. With like Max Airstream access, because it made stuff like Togekiss really good, and if Togekiss can be really good just because of a Max Airstream, I really think Quaquaval can too, and I'm not even kidding. Maybe Dynamax will come back someday, but probably never, so, you know, we'll never know. These next Pokemon I think would just really benefit from, like, max moves in general. Like Goldengo, obviously, like, its best move is a spread move that lowers its special attack. It's still really good, but what if it could Dynamax and click base 150 Max Steel Spike instead? That'd be kind of stupid broken, right? Like, you can run this and not have to run, like, you could just run, like, you know, more spread moves. I mean, I guess really only have Make It Rain, but, yeah, I don't know. And you could run, like, Max Dark, Max Ghost to, like, combo into stuff. You don't get any flying type moves, so you can't really Max Airstream, but these defense boosts would mean the world. And if you could also get special defense boosts, it doesn't look like you can. That's really unfortunate, actually. Huh. But yeah, I don't know. Just for Max Steel Spike, I really think that, like, if you could Dynamax Goldengo and, like, click Max Steel Spike, it'd be kind of busted. Not to mention, Good as Gold is, like, a stupid good ability, and you could just, like, absolutely deal with Venusaur and stuff. It'd be really cool. Iron Bundle is a Pokemon notorious for having not very accurate moves. And, well, there were a lot of Pokemon that were running not very accurate moves in Sword and Shield, and it didn't feel as bad because they could just Dynamax. And if Iron Bundle could Dynamax, it wouldn't do a lot of things for it. Obviously, it's still a good Pokemon just because it's really fast. But, even, you know, like, imagine for a second, because we had Calyrex Shadow, okay? Calyrex Shadow was really, really good, despite its 4 times weaknesses and, like, its paper thin defenses, because it could Dynamax to compensate, and you could run, like, Friend Guard next to it. Now, you could do that with Iron Bundle, and it would completely make up for your special defense. You could do, like, some crazy Kartana thing where you run, like, a bunch of special defense or something. I don't know. Maybe you run an Assault Vest Iron Bundle. But you got Hydro Pump, you got Blizzard, and you can just click really, really strong Max Geyser and really, really strong Max Snowstorm. It's Max Hailstorm? Max Hailstorm. It's, yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be, like, kind of crazy. We do get Air Cutter, so you could also run Max Airstream on here to, like, boost your buddy's special attack, or your buddy's speed, which would be really neat. I think this would be, like, I mean, it's like a good Pokemon now, but it's not like, I don't know, it's not like the toppest tier Pokemon. I feel like with Dynamax, Iron Bundle might be better than Fluttermane. Now, obviously, Fluttermane benefits the same way from the bulk, so maybe that's not true. But Iron Bundle just being faster, I think, would give it, like, a huge advantage if you could Dynamax it and maybe like actually live attacks from Flutter Mane, if that makes sense. I put Iron Valiant on here because it's a mixed attacker, and mixed attackers are bad. But there was a niche for Pokemon that could potentially be mixed attackers in Sword and Shield. Because when you faced them, you never knew if they were going to be physical or special. Now, obviously, that's kind of mitigated by open team sheets now, but last generation, we didn't have open team sheets. So, like, you could run, like, a crazy, like, weird, like, special set or a crazy, weird physical set, and your opponent would never know if you Dynamaxed on turn 1. And also, you can run Max Airstream. Now, as soon as you click Max Airstream, maybe they'll know that you're physical. But this is one of those Pokemon where, like, if your opponent guesses the wrong, like, stat that you're attacking with, they could throw off their whole game. And that's why I feel like Iron Valiant would probably be better with Dynamax. And then the last Pokemon on my list here is Flamigo. Okay? Not because it would benefit from Dynamax, though it would, because it does get access to Max Airstream. And as we know, Max Airstream would be stupid. And Max Knuckle, which is funny. Max Airstream plus Max Knuckle could straight up be busted. But anyway, no. The reason that Flamigo would be busted is because after you're done like with your Dynamax Pokemon, and it like has a bunch of speed boosts, right? Or a bunch of like boosts from like weakness policy or whatever, Flamigo comes in and it copies those boosts. And there were way more stat boosts being thrown around in Dynamax formats because of like max moves, like Max Quake, Max Steel Spike, Max Airstream. Those are really the main ones. But you know, obviously you have, you know, Max Knuckle, Max Ooze too. But because of all of those moves, a lot of Pokemon were just where they would like take 3 turns to gain stat boosts, and then they would just have those stat boosts for the rest of the game. And I really, really think that like if Flamigo existed last generation, it might have been on a lot of teams. Because being able to come in after the Dynamax and copy all those stat boosts sounds really valuable. Especially since both of your Pokemon get the stat boosts, you could switch out either of your Pokemon into Flamigo and just keep those stat boosts alive. That just sounds super cool. I don't know. But that's all those Pokemon. Are there any that I missed? Are there any Pokemon from this generation that you feel like would have been better with Dynamax? Besides, you know, the obvious stuff like Flutter Mane, and like, I don't know, I talked about a lot of the new Pokemon, didn't I? Yeah, I don't know. like obviously like Iron Hands and Dynamax would be cool, but it's not really a Pokemon that I think would want to Dynamax. Kind of like Incineroar, it'd be a really good Pokemon in Sword and Shield still, but it wouldn't be like better than now. It'd be about the same, I think. But yeah, I don't know. Are there any Pokemon from this generation that you think would have been better? We can include a Hisuian Pokemon too, because obviously they never got a chance to Dynamax. I think maybe you could like throw Hisuian Bravery on the end of this, but I don't know. That's not really for me to decide. Yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments. Go ahead, leave me a like if you like this video. Go ahead and subscribe, especially if you're here at the end. Like, this is like a 25-minute video. What are you doing? Just subscribe. I literally just rambled for 25 minutes. Don't you feel silly? With that, everybody, my name is Andrew. I'll catch you guys next time.
Flutter Mane, Flutter Mane, Flutter Mane, Flutter Mane, Flutter Mane, Flutter Mane, Flutter Mane. Making big reads in my flutter brain. EV's giving me flutter gains. Play it on rain, call it flutter rain. Get what you run a flutter train. Boss so smooth like a butter mane. Flutter Mane, Flutter Mane, Flutter Mane. Flutter Mane, Flutter Mane, Flutter Mane, Flutter Mane, Flutter Mane, Flutter Mane, Flutter Mane. Making big reads in my flutter brain. EV's giving me flutter gains. Play it on rain, call it flutter rain.